Today I want to talk about FOMO because I have really bad FOMO. Living in a place where there's always cool stuff going on every night. I'm talking about every night. There are multiple dope ass events, parties, and I love parties. I love to dance. I love meeting new people. I just love being outside. I love being out in the open and exploring, and you never know what will happen, right? But at the same time, that is my downfall. What I mean when I say that is my downfall is like I just don't know when to quit. I never want the night to end. If I went out the night before and I have the energy the next day, I'm gonna be there. But something happened that kind of stopped me in my tracks and forced me to slow down and not be able to go out all the time. And granted, it is very easy for me because I live about a 15-minute walk from the main row of the city that I live in. And there are so many restaurants, bars, clubs, event spaces where there's always things going on. I love to experience. I love to do things. I love meeting new people. And I think it's important to know when to just like slow down. Just sit with yourself and be with yourself. For a majority of my life, I reach for the external. I reach for the external to feel something, anything. I reach to the outside world to have fun and to be inspired. I think I need to like shift that and start reaching within, start going inward, spending more time with myself and learning myself. Being in a foreign country, it's just me and my dad here. I'm usually by myself. I've become very used to being on my own and being in my own energy, in my own space. So I've been single for a while. And ultimately by choice, ultimately because I feel like that's just what it needs to be right now. Does it get lonely? It used to feel lonely. I think now I'm pretty content in my solitude and pretty okay with just like being with myself. Even though, yeah, like sometimes I do want to go hang out with a friend or have a good conversation with somebody or meet people. Like that's a normal human desire. I think what is the hard part at times is like when you're craving affection or you're craving someone that really cares about like how your day went. And I have dear friends who care, but that is different from a lover, a romantic relationship, because that definitely serves a different purpose than friendship, depending on like what kind of friendships you have, right? I mean, I do like I do want connection. I crave connection. And I crave, having someone to cuddle with. Like that is just being real. Like that's me being honest. But I will say in my time of being single, I've like learned to give myself the love and the attention and the affection that I need. Even though I'm still like, I want a hug or like I want some cosquitas. Just love, touch, and affection. And that is something that I do miss being single and not really dating. I'm not dating, and that's by choice because for me, there needs to be focus on other parts of my life right now. And I think that can be a distraction for me. When I'm dating, I'll sometimes just forget about everything else that I have going on or everything else that I need to do. And I'll abandon my own needs. I'll abandon like my art, my passions. And then that relationship will end. And it's just this cycle that is not really good for me. So yeah, single by choice because I know that right now is time that I need to spend with myself and get to learn myself. Because my entire life I've spent seeking the validation of others and not feeling fulfilled unless I had somebody who admired me and loved me. And even then not feeling fulfilled. Like every time I get into a relationship, and this is a whole nother thing I need to unpack, but even when I am in a relationship, I usually feel trapped, unfulfilled, and pretty miserable because I'm like, oh my God, I'm stuck here now. Now I'm stuck. From my first really long-term relationship when I was really young, I was about 14 years old, from 14 to like 18, 19. Neither of us allowed the other to be who they were. I think we both were trying to mold each other to be our ideal version of that person. And obviously that's not fair to either of us. And you can't change who someone is. Do people change? I think we're all constantly evolving. But like at your core, you don't really change who you are. Like that is not something you can change about somebody, and it's not something that you should try to change, right? And so that relationship did not work out for a variety of reasons, and I have no resentment towards it. I learned so much from that relationship. But I do think that I am still working through a lot of traumas that I experienced in that relationship just from being young and not knowing how to have boundaries and not knowing, where to draw the line. I was so young and I had not developed my full identity of who I was yet that I took on so much of that person's likes, dislikes, beliefs. And so when I got to college and I was on my own, I was like, who am I? Who I understood myself to be and my identity, it was very like shaky. I didn't know who I was. And so then I went through all these different phases of trying to figure out who I was, and in the midst of that did get hurt a bit because again, I didn't know myself because I had never spent time with just myself. I was in a 4 or 5 year relationship from a very young age, and I didn't get a chance to just learn who Pati was. Family calls me Pati. I didn't get a chance to learn who I was without a partner. And going into my adult years, there are some relationship traumas that I still need to work through. That's why I think it's okay that I am single now, because even after that relationship, I did continue to date and didn't give myself time to process that relationship and to process my grief. It's very easy to neglect your needs when you're around others all the time or when you're with your partner all the time because you're pouring so much of your energy and attention into that person or into those people. And so I do think it's really important to spend time with yourself and really get to know yourself. You get to a point where you really do enjoy that time with yourself and you're grateful for it. Then I think when it's time for you to have someone in your life, that it'll happen when you're least expecting it. It'll happen when you are pouring into yourself and doing the things that are good for you on the path that is right for you. The right person, a healthy, beautiful relationship will come when you least expect it and when you're giving yourself the love and a time that you need and deserve. So, yeah. Like, if you're craving love in a relationship, that's normal, that's natural, that's human. Maybe that's a sign to look inward and say, am I giving myself what I need? Am I giving myself what I crave? Give yourself grace. You're human. It's okay to crave love and affection. But remind yourself that you really can give yourself that. And you will get to a point where you just refuse to settle for anything less than you know you deserve. When you're just seeking a relationship and you're just wanting someone to love you, you will settle for things that you do not deserve. At that point, sometimes you don't even know your worth and you don't even know yourself, right? And so you're settling for things and then wondering why you're unhappy. And it's because, like, babes, you need to give yourself that love first before you expect someone else to fill your cup. No, you can't force love and you can't force a relationship. And giving yourself that first, that is going to come eventually when it's, like, the right time for you. So, give yourself grace and patience as you work through that. And as you get to know yourself, the right person will come to you when it's the right time and when you least expect it.
I'll tell you all